Hello YouTube! Alright, so today's picture wasn't particularly well planned out. I just wanted to do something kind of quick and fun. So I did a quick sketch on paper first, and then I just kind of got started. So basically I wanted to draw something kind of cute and spacey, and the first idea I had was these kind of curled in pigtails that were inside the space helmet, because I thought that'd be kind of cute. So I did the basic sketch, and I think it turned out okay. Um, the hardest part was making the helmet work, since head accessories on Chibis tend to get kind of weird. But after doing a preliminary sketch and then the sketch here, I think it turned out alright. And the fact that it was a transparent accessory made of glass meant that I had a few other considerations to take into account when I was doing the line art. When I'm drawing transparent or translucent things, I usually like to do my line art on several layers. So I'll have one layer for the stuff that's above the translucent thing, I'll have one layer for the line art for the translucent thing itself, and then I'll have another layer for line art for stuff that's showing up below it. That way I can put a color layer in later, just for the translucent object, and set it to a lower opacity, and tint not only the colors that are behind it, but also the liner that's behind it, which helps make the whole picture look a bit more three-dimensional. So for this piece, that means that I did the little antenna and the forward-facing hand on a separate layer, and then I did all the rest of the line art for the kid, and then I have a third line art layer in the middle of the two of them that's in a different color for just the helmet itself. And then you can see here as I'm filling in the colors how that just kind of instantaneously allows me to tint all the things below it without doing a lot of extra work erasing around line art or anything like that. Again, because this was kind of a quick piece, I didn't put a lot of thought into my color composition until I was kind of partway through, so the colors ended up being kind of random. I went with kind of a nice purpley tone, and then just a little bit of brighter yellow, because I thought that would mesh in well with like a dark blue spacey background, and I don't know, I just kind of like purple and yellow. I thought it would be sort of fun. And then because I hadn't really planned things out, I had to go back and do a lot of sort of minor color correction just to make sure that all of the different tones worked fairly well with each other before I went back in and did shading. So I turned the above helmet layers off while I was shading the face, so it'd be easier for me to color pick exact shades that I needed. But I ended up actually using, I think, 4 or 5 layers total for the helmet to get the translucent effect I wanted. The one that's visible while I'm shading the figure is actually a layer I copied and put behind the whole figure to show sort of the back of the helmet. And then above the figure I added probably 2 or 3 layers, and then erased different parts of them so I could get a translucency effect that was sort of gradiated. So the shinier parts were more opaque and the darker parts were more translucent. And that kind of multiple layered thing, using 2 or 3 layers at a very low opacity as opposed to one layer at a slightly higher opacity, is something I've just started doing, and I really feel like it's helping my translucent or transparent objects look a bit more three-dimensional and realistic without having to do a lot of extra work. So the background on this piece is a bit random. Initially, while I was drawing it in here, I thought I was going to crop the whole picture to be more of a square composition, but I ended up deciding I wanted to keep the whole canvas, so the background isn't as well thought out as it could be. I actually ended up going in later after I finished filming this bit and extending the canvas and bringing the spacey thing out to cover an even greater distance around her, especially at the top and on the sides, which I think helped, and you can see the full thing over on my Redbubble where I've listed this available for prints and merch and stuff. So yeah, the composition here is a little random, but I still really like all the colors and stuff I got to play with here, and I think those turned out pretty good. And yeah, I think that's about it for this piece. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. I'm always happy to answer questions as best I can about technique or any of that art stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you around on some of my other videos.